So here we have a triangular prism, and we're going to find the surface area two ways. First, we're going to do the traditional net way, where we're going to draw out the net and then figure out what the areas are of each of the component 2D shapes, which makes a triangular prism up. There's 3 rectangles that are here, and there's 2 triangles. You can't see them, but you can imagine them. Just have to put the dots in. Okay, so now you can see the other triangles in the back. That's a rectangle. Okay, so we'll draw the net out. We'll do the surface area using the net. But then we're also going to use this new alternative way, this hybrid way, of also taking into account the perimeter to help us get the area all the way around a little bit quicker. All right, so first let's start with the net. So let's start with the bottom here. We'll call that the floor. And you don't have to call it the floor. You could call it the bottom. You could, the base, whatever you want to call it is fine. I'll call it the floor. And then, so that's the floor. Then you've got the back. So I'll call that the back. So the back is over here, like that. And then off of the back, do you see that these triangles swivel off? So we'll do a triangle here and a triangle there. Almost have enough room for that triangle. So those triangles swivel. Okay, and then what comes over all of it is another rectangle that I call the windshield, which is not what you have to call it. It's not what a textbook calls it, but I call it, like, if you think of this as like the a car, you know, the driver's seat of a car, this part over here, to me, it looks like a windshield. Now, that windshield, if you look at it head on, is a rectangle. So put it over here, and I'll call it the windshield. Okay. Okay, so it kind of looks like an airplane once you flatten it out, but this is the net. This is the net of a triangular prism, all right? And it's got 5 2D shapes. 1, 2, 3 are rectangles, and then the other 2 are identical triangles to each other. So, so the traditional way to come up with the surface area is using the net. So let's come up with some, let's call this right here 10. Let's call this 10 centimeters, this length. Let's call, I don't know, this length 4 or maybe 3. Let's call this 3 centimeters. Let's call this 4 centimeters. And let's call this diagonal. So these 2 diagonals are the same length. Let's call that a 5 centimeters. So 3, 4, 5, a 3, 4, 5 triangle, 3, 4, 5 triangle, and then a this you call this the length, the width, whatever you want to call it. It would be 10 centimeters. Okay, so the floor, the bottom here is a rectangle, a 3 by 10 rectangle. So it's 3 by 10, which makes 30. So 30 square centimeters. Then the back over here is a 4 by 10. So if this is 10, that means that this dotted line back here is 10. So it's 4 by 10, which is 40. So the back is 40 centimeters squared. And then this windshield is also a rectangle. It's 10 by 5. 10 by 5. So 10 by 5 is 50. So that's 50. So 50 plus 40 is 90, plus 30 is 120. 120 centimeters squared is the area sum of the rectangles. Okay, it's not the entire triangular prism, it's just the areas of these 3 rectangles added up. So 90 plus 30 is 120. Okay. So we haven't done the triangles yet, though. So this wasn't like a terribly long process, but we can maybe make it a little bit quicker. There's a way that we could come up with these, with this sort of total sum of the rectangles, 120. We could come up with it a little bit quicker. How could we do that? Through using the perimeter. So we're going to go back to the perimeter idea. Okay, so the perimeter of this triangle, what's the perimeter of this triangle? It's 3 plus 4 plus 5. Because remember, if this is 5, this is 5. So 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 5 is 12. So the perimeter of the triangle is 12 centimeters. 3 plus 4 plus 5 is 12. Okay, so if we take that perimeter and then multiply it, now the perimeter goes all the way around, all the way around. So if you take this perimeter and you make it like a piece of string that's a triangle, and you slide it across the entire triangular prism, the length of it, which we'll call 10 centimeters, you are basically scanning over the windshield, the floor, and the back all at the same time. You're scanning over all of them at the same time because you got the perimeter. Peri means around, perimeter means all the way around this triangular prism. So this triangular prism right here has a perimeter of 12. If you go all the way that way, 10 centimeters, you will have scanned all 3 of these areas all at once. So what is 12 times 10? So you would need to find the perimeter, which is 12, and then the area, the sum area of all the triangles would be 12, the perimeter, times 10. So 12 centimeters times 10 centimeters equals 120 centimeters squared. 120 centimeters squared. You see that? So you see how using that perimeter there can get all of these areas of the rectangles a little bit more quickly than adding it up with the net. Both ways are great. I just want to give you alternatives on, whatever you're most comfortable with. Now, at the end of the day, these triangles on either end, you have to do sort of in the net fashion because you need to come up with the area of this triangle. Now, the saving grace here is that the other triangle on the other side is the exact same size. So if you figure out the area of this triangle, you automatically can just double it because that'll be the area over here as well, and then you can add them together. So the area of a triangle, by the way, the area of a triangle is 1/2 times base times height. Or if you want to do base times height divided by 2 is the exact same thing. So here we've got 3 as the base. So the area of this specific triangle is 1/2 times 3, which is the base, times 4, which is the height. So that's 3 times 4, which is 12, times 1/2, or divided by 2. Either way, you get to 6 centimeters squared. So the area of just this triangle is 6 centimeters squared, and we know that the other one is identical. So we can add them together. 6 and 6 is 12. So we already got this, which we know is 120. So 120 plus 12 is 132. So the total surface area of the entire triangular prism is 132 centimeters squared. And we got it through the net, but we also got it through this hybrid version of using the perimeter to at least get those rectangles. So that's just another way of looking at triangular prisms. And next we're going to move on to other solids like cylinders.